Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
There you go. Maybe I shouldn't start the show with my mic muted. Salut tout le monde. Hey everybody, Marc Dumont here. I am back. I've been gone for a little while, and I appreciate everyone just taking advantage of Kay being a great host, but she's done a fantastic job covering. So I'm getting a little bit of reverb here, a little bit of echo. We can fix that. En tout cas, thanks for coming. We'll be obviously talking about the Montreal Canadiens. I'd call that a dominant win, and the Habs don't get many dominant wins. So, all in all, just a positive way to finish the season, right, in Montreal. We haven't had that many opportunities to have like nice stretches where they play. Oh, there goes my face. There you go. I'll get us back. I'll stop. Sorry, I'm trying to load the chat here to see what everyone's saying. Let's go. So we're going to enjoy it. It was the last game at the Bell Center until January 6th, where they'll be playing Columbus. And I'll be back before the end of the new year on the 31st. But in between then, once again, Kay is going to be doing all of the heavy lifting during the holidays, which is just fantastic. Thank you so much. All right. In our chat right now, we have MFM and Kek Shows always here, and Bernardo, who will ask me about Josh Anderson, right? That's what's going to happen in the next, there you go, in the next few moments. So yeah, I do apologize. With the video, it's because I'm going to have my phone out because I keep trying to jump onto the chat. I'm not thinking, but Discord, when it does that, it decides to go dark and you no longer see my face, which isn't the worst thing in the world. Okay. Before we get going, I just want to, again, thank everyone for coming, like, subscribe, do all that stuff if you want to. In the meantime, the most important thing is that you're here to have a fun, relaxed chat about the Montreal Canadiens, who I don't want to say are riding the hot hand right now, but it's the first 3-game win streak of the year. Patrik Laine has almost as many power play goals as the New York Islanders, and the whole team tonight, really, other than the second line, was really rolling. So positive all around, just a great way to end their last game at the Bell Center. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go through segment, 3 periods, and then at the end, we're gonna talk to all the fans about what they want to talk about. But you know me, I like to keep it loose. If you have anything that you want to say, throw it in the chat, and we will discuss it. I'd also like to invite everyone to take a look at Hyperdrive Hockey. Okay, so the show is hosted by Daphne Malbeuf and Maxime Van Houten, who basically recap the day, talk about the upcoming shows, upcoming games in the NHL. And it's very entertaining. 2 fantastic local, homegrown talents that are hosting it. So I invite you to check that out. And also, if you have any friends in the other broadcast areas, let them know. We have game overs for other teams. So, all right. Bernardo says, nice. Okay. I do have to explain this thing a little bit. First of all, so one of the reasons I wasn't here, Bernardo says, nice beard, which is a bit of a lie. Okay. So there's 2 reasons I have this thing right now on my face. Number one of the reasons I haven't been around is I deal with pretty bad insomnia. I can get away with it usually, but once it gets to 2 or 3 days with no sleep, I turn into such a cranky bitch. Like it's incredible. So like Lalonde tonight wasn't even close to as angry as I get when I lack sleep. So because of that, I haven't been shaving. And second of all, I'm going to go see my godson in a few, 3 days. And he is under the impression that blonde people can't grow beards. So what I told him is that blonde people should never grow beards because it looks disgusting. It does. I'm quite aware of how gross I look like right now, but it's for my godson, and that's what's important. Aujourd'hui, back into English, where we're going to discuss, I think, the most important thing for the Habs is just how they're having everyone rolling. Now, the line that's really making that difference for Montreal is the 4th line. And that's absolutely fantastic. We're looking at 3 guys who, I know everyone's going to mention how much money he makes, but Joel Armia's play has been quite good. Emil Heineman's been making, we went into camp talking about Joshua Roy and Oliver Kapanen. No one talked about Heineman, but he had, I don't know if he had more pro experience than... Yeah, he did. He had more pro experience than Kapanen, I do believe. And he just has those 2 elements that really will make you succeed regardless of where you're getting used. Now, 8 goals in the 4th line is a lot. And the reason he's scoring that often is he's shooting. say it's not complicated, right? The Montreal Canadiens are the team that shoots the least in the NHL. So if you come in and you start shooting from the fourth line, people will notice. And you put the Corsi on net and good things will happen. So we're seeing Emil Heineman use not just every opportunity, but he's really hustling out there. And we saw that start in Laval last year. Emil Heineman was hustling. Like, he realized he was at that point that you might kind of get lost in the fray, right? He's one of the first prospects that Kent Hughes traded for. And even though he's kind of disregarded in that whole deal, he's really done a great job quietly climbing the ranks, let's say, put it that way, to the point that, I wanted to see him on the first line at the beginning of the season. Now I'm gonna pull that option out, because Juraj Slavkovsky has to stay on the first line. It's as simple as that. And there's two reasons. First of all, it's the only line that makes him work. But also, when he's on that line, he makes the line work as well, right? So we're seeing them control the shots again. We're seeing them control the scoring chances. And once you have that first line clicking and you have a couple other lines clicking, which is the third and the fourth, that's very hard to defend against. Alex Lyon had more holes in him than, expired Swiss cheese, but still, we saw a complete game effort, a complete 60-minute effort from everyone there. And as per usual, Jake Evans was one of the stars. So, I'm loving what the fourth line is doing, and I'm loving what the third line is doing. Brendan Gallagher is just hustling out there. You know what I mean? Like tonight, dead tired, still makes it to the offensive zone and scores a goal. Again, Alex Lyon, that was some terrible goaltending, but the Habs deserve a few of those peppered in. Like, they played well enough. Like, last night's game shouldn't have been 4-3. It should have been 8-1. So, tonight was a little bit of a gift. Yeah, let's just put it that way, because Lyon, again, not too great. All right. Yeah, sorry. Hey, Robert. Good to see you, buddy. King of the North is here as well. Yeah, absolutely. And Thomas. Yeah, sorry about the video, Thomas. It should be working now. And Robert, for those that don't know him, he was talking about the Montreal Canadiens before I ever did. And he was taking care of, what was it was on Eyes on the Prize. What was the name of the series? I forget. Something like Catching the Torch. Anyways. Great resource. And I noticed that Robert kind of went away for a few years because he was saying the Bergevin thing wouldn't work. He was right. He was absolutely right. So it's good to see Robert back in the mix, and hopefully, we're going to see him a lot more often. Beyond Emil Heineman, beyond the goals, which again, fantastic. I haven't even talked about Patrik Laine, but we'll get to him. We're seeing Alexandre Carrier provide the exact type of presence that the Montreal Canadiens needed. I don't want to throw any, I don't want to insult Justin Barron, but let's just put it this way. Flipping them, it solves one of the major issues, which is a lack of stability and the chaos on the back end. Like, we're still seeing Mike Matheson will give away the puck. Lane Hutson will give away the puck. But Carrier is just that calming presence. And I'm not sure Martin St. Louis has had that calming presence available, especially to be used in the second pairing, right? It's good to see Martin, first of all, with a healthy team. This is also his first stretch with a healthy team, but seeing the new guy just fit in immediately, giving Martin St. Louis a few more options. Just absolutely great. And I know a lot of people got upset when I said that the trade for Justin Barron was bad or was a mistake. And I'd like to clear it up. It absolutely was. Come on, let's just call a spade, right? It was a bad trade. It was a mistake. And that happens all the time. The big advantage here, or at least what I consider a win for Kent Hughes, is that he didn't fall in love with his guy, right? Like, Justin Barron, I believe, was the third guy he ever acquired in that Lehkonen trade. Okay, he was trying to plug the hole on the right. It was the logic behind getting Barron was perfect. It just didn't work out. It was a mistake, but he didn't compound his mistake by keeping him around until, his value was ground into dust. Getting Alexandre Carrier, that's a nice little get there for considering, how little they were using Barron. So they're going to miss his offensive impact. That's the one thing that Barron did so amazing. Like, he was one of the best forwards on the team, put it that way. But, really right now, Carrier is just providing that fantastic defensive presence that, that they needed, that they desperately needed. Okay, so Remily came in right before I started my little Carrier rant and saying 100 times better than Barron. Okay, yes, different situations. Barron is 100 times better offensively, right? And again, I don't want don't insult him. I really hope he finds his rhythm with Nashville. That's a good situation. We have that open ice time. Whereas Montreal, it wasn't that great of a situation. So a little bit like when I saw Caden Primo on the bench tonight, I guess I'm becoming soft my old age, but I kind of felt bad. And I kind of thought, hey, it'd be great if he can get a start somewhere else. So what they did with Barron was good for Barron. It was good for Carrier, and it was good for the Habs. I don't know if it's good for Nashville, but we can get to that. We can cross that bridge when we get there. Okay, so we're not going to talk about Kay is moderating the chat right now, but we're not talking about any more Jake Evans. Sorry. Robert mentions we didn't win the trade on Newhook either. Looks like it. Let's not trade with the Avs anymore. Hey, yeah, that's one thing. I noticed the Avs usually win their trades. I think it was predictable, but hey, I don't want to talk about Newhook right now because I actually thought he had a good game, but I thought that this is entirely predictable that he wouldn't, like, everyone was assuming he'd take that next big step. But at 23, if you haven't taken that step, it's hard to do, right? So either way, he's not the issue right now, right? Like Alex Newhook is not an issue. Even tonight I can hardly think of anyone that had a poor game, right? So I understand that trade might not have worked out, but again, the spirit of it was good, right? But as we saw, like, listen, tonight is a really good reminder. You cannot press fast forward on a rebuild. You just can't, or else you become the city that was created by the sports gods for pure sadness, which is the Buffalo Sabres, Buffalo, right? Or Detroit. Those are great examples of GMs wanting to hit that fast forward button. It never works out. Never. So even though it was great, they're on a little bit of momentum, 3 wins in a row. Hey, like, that's big. I still want to remind everyone there's a lot of road to go here. And when things get tough, maybe at the end of the year next year, we're going to have to, again, take a deep breath because doing it the right way always takes a little bit longer. Now, that's not to say that, hey, listen, if you can swing another Patrik Laine deal, make it happen. But, we shouldn't let the recent streak skew our expectations for the for the team going forward. Okay, so salut, Alexandre, Christian, il est ici. Bernardo says, who's your favorite Habs player and why is it Josh Anderson? Every time. If Josh Anderson and Yoel Armia were making half their money, I'd be championing them every day. It's funny because I remember once I asked Carl Alsner, it was like in his last days, essentially. You could feel it was coming, and he was kind of in a dark place, right, playing for Laval. And my boss was like, oh, you got to go, like, get a story about how much he hates his life right now. And I was like, oh, man, that's tough to do. But Carl Alsner is actually the nicest human being in the world. He's just so nice that I even apologized to him. I'm like, hey, listen, like, I insulted your play while you were with the Habs. And he's like, I wasn't doing so great. But we got to the point where I asked him, like, if you had to go back, what would you do? And he said he would have never signed that deal. Never. And it wasn't just because it was too much term and too much money, although, again, that was the issue. He said one of the toughest things was explaining to his kids why he's not going to Montreal. He's going to Laval. You know what I mean? And, like, so there's also that feeling of, being wanted in all of this. So all in all, a lot of these guys would probably regret it. That being said, I would have signed all those deals, like, in a hurry. I know what they're saying, but absolutely not. Give me millions of dollars to play a game. Like, they brought out Carl Alsner on a helicopter ride, if I remember correctly. Come on, you're getting wined and dined in Montreal. You're going to sign, right? So, it's just... and at the time, I remember nobody signed with Montreal. That was the big deal. Anyways, all this to say, if he was making half his money, he would still be in the NHL right now. And same thing with Anderson and Armia. If they were at half that price, fantastic value. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so we have Robert Rice is getting pulled. All right. Take it easy. He says, don't forget, Laval Rocket play at 3 tomorrow. He mentions also, so we have Beck and, Roy was playing with Beck, not Davidson. Oh, he was just listing them. Either way, Jared Davidson's been doing great on the farm. Just a complete reversal of fortunes from last year. Although, like, Régent Houle's son, Jean-François Houle, who was the coach at the time, wasn't giving him, prime shifts. He was on the 4th line. But we're seeing Jared Davidson really pick up where he left off playing for Seattle, the Thunderbirds. That was such a good team. Anyways, and Philippe Méchard is back as well. So Owen Beck, last I checked, is leading the team in scoring. It might be Joshua Roy right now, but you're getting contributions from guys that will matter in the future, right? And that's so rare for the Habs. So, guys like Riley Kidney and Sean Farrell haven't quite picked up their play, but we're just seeing and I've been following Laval since they were since they got to Laval. This is the first year where you can legitimately say the top two lines have Habs prospects on them, And I'm not talking about Alex Barré-Boulet, who's been great. Just in general, this is the plan, and we got to give some credit to Bergevin. That was happening all those years ago. It took a lot longer to get there than we thought, but you're getting important contributions from key players. As Rémi mentions on Davidson, yeah, loved him during camp. If you get to watch Jared Davidson, you will see him take 50 one-timers. And it's a thing of beauty. I mean, I'm a sucker for, who was it the other night? Was it Travis Konechny? It was at the old 67s, right? Where he took a slap shot on the breakaway. Mwah, beautiful. I'm a sucker for those old school plays. So one-timers, big clappers on the double pad stacks. You know what I mean? Hip checks. I dream of Alexei Emelin all the time. Even the hit on Cole. So I'm all for Jared Davidson because he brings in that old school hockey. We've also seen some slowing down from a few other guys, so like Logan Mailloux and whatnot. But again, totally normal. And this is just a good reminder that you remember how everyone wanted him in the NHL last year. This is what I got a lot of people angry at me when I said, "Hey guys, it shouldn't even be a conversation." There's so much offensive talent there that you can't disregard him, but it's still a learning process. Let's put it that way. And that's perfectly normal, given obviously, and it was his choices, the reason that he didn't play this much in junior. So it's going to take him a while to get back up to playing speed. But the most important thing, again, tonight, the Montreal Canadiens emerge with a big win. And I genuinely, can anyone find a negative? I dare you to find a negative for me. I don't think there is. We're seeing a team that, again, 2 days in a row where the fourth line drives the play, and we're not going to expect that going forward, but that's the sign of a healthy team. I get that Alex Lyon was really bad tonight. I think the Habs, if they would have had that lineup rolling, could have beat any team in the NHL. We don't want to get too high on our own supply here, get hoisted by our petards. I don't know what that last one means, but it sounds cool. But it's fun. It's fun to see them rolling. And a few people mentioned, the problem now is Cole Caulfield's not scoring on the power play because Patrik Laine is. That's not a problem. That is not a problem. That's looking a gift horse in the mouth. You know what I mean? À cheval donné, là, on ne regarde pas la bride. It's Cole Caulfield will be fine. And once, they already know, but once teams start to acclimatize to Laine being there, it'll open up for Caulfield. Now the one-timer situation isn't great, but all in all, they're rolling the most competent power play. That puck movement tonight, beautiful. And even if they wouldn't have scored, even if Laine wouldn't have scored his usual Patrick play goal, I thought that was just the best movement we've seen since Subban was on the team. And even better when it was Markov and Subban. The power play movement is just beautiful. Now, it's kind of like throwing a glass of water at someone who's been lost in the desert for 50 years, anything would look great right now. But all in all, I do have to say that just fantastic power play movement. And, it's Laine. I felt like tonight, and I don't know if anyone agrees, I felt like he was actually overlooking some shots, almost like he felt too greedy taking the shots. And I hope that's not the case. Keep shooting. Oh yeah, okay. And I did challenge you guys to get negative. So yeah, okay. First goal, Remily mentions they gave up the first goal. That's not a negative because they won for the second time only this year after giving up the first goal. I get what you mean, but that was big. The Habs don't win when they give up the first goal, right? So we're seeing in the last little stretch, I feel anyhow, just fantastic pushback from the Montreal Canadiens when it comes to that adversity, so, and it's good to give guys like Martin St. Louis and Nick Suzuki's a little less vocal about it and you don't notice it in his body language too much. Martin St. Louis hates losing, as do most of the players. It's good to give him a little bit of a nice little reprieve from those losses, because as we're seeing, he's getting pretty testy with the media, which I get, but either way, some wins will do wonders for everyone, including the head coach. Wandering Signal mentions, hey, Dach getting another penalty in the O-zone. Yeah. Why did I challenge it? This is a bad challenge on my part. I don't know what's going on with Dach, because it almost feels like he's trying to prove that he's very, very healthy on every, going out of his way to hit people, to get in it, and that's great. It's kind of like what Max Pacioretty is doing in Toronto. You want to show people that you still have value, right? But the decision making, it's still, and I don't think it's rust. I think it's just a confidence thing right now, and it's really hard to explain. But if you ask him right now, he'll say he's holding his stick a little too tight. And when you do that, when you can't score, you want to contribute in other areas. Unfortunately, he's doing the Steve Bégin, and he's getting all these bad penalties. But if Dach could get it going right now, and if that second line, because Laine has been great on the power play, his 5-on-5 numbers, predictably, not great. If that line could get going, geez, watch out. I'm not going to use the talk about what happens in springtime. But if that second line wakes up, hey, no, we're not even. I don't want to. I told you all summer that they're not going to be playing in the playoffs, so we're not going to go down that route. Laine, David Trotz here. How's it going, David? Laine said in the post-game interview, he always tries to score, just like me in high school, except for only one of us made it happen. Dach is getting better, but he takes way too many penalties. Jonathan Dubois, yeah. He's trying too hard. I've told this story 1,000 times, but, I'm friends with this shooting coach, right? And the year after he got that, he started well. Obviously, he had the surgery that kind of took him out of action the first year. And he felt so bad. Like, he wanted to prove himself so much that he worked out so hard in the goal of staying healthy. Like, he knew that was all he worked out all year. I want to stay healthy. He gets injured a few minutes into the second game of the year. That's so tough on someone's psyche, right? Because he went from all the way down. So in terms of momentum, I don't know what the solution is for him, but hopefully, he can kind of see through they don't need him to be dominant every night, but they do need him to stop being a negative, in terms of overall impact. And I genuinely believe that he's capable of doing it. He's really in a bad rut right now, but you can tell it's maybe not a rut because he's not even getting those chances. So it's almost like his complete game is out of whack. But hey, the good news is everyone else is playing pretty well amongst the forwards. And again, that fourth line, fantastic. Alexandre Christian says, I feel like Dvorak has basically been good and engaged for the entire good stretch. Yes, he's been good. I'm going to push it. Merci, Alexandre, to bring that up. Christian Dvorak's been one of the best Canadiens forwards in terms of shot control, high danger, scoring chance control, generating individual chances, actual goals while they're on the ice, expected goals. Now it helps the combination. I don't think he's doing all the heavy lifting, but he's another one of those overpaid. But hey, you're making it happen on the third and fourth line, and it's better than just having could you imagine if Gallagher and Anderson and Dvorak and Evans weren't producing? We wouldn't be talking about a good stretch right now, right? Joe the Snoop, I haven't heard this in so long, but late third period penalties really cheese me off. I like that, cheese me off. That's so 90s. I used to say that. It's the Steve Bégin. That's what it is. The terrible penalty 200 feet away from your net. I swear to God, Steve Bégin did it every game for an entire season 1 year. It was probably almost twice, but only twice, but that's how I remember it. Who else here? Oh, Remedy mentions, ça sent de l'eau chaude pour Primo à Montréal. So he's saying it smells like hot water, or it feels like hot water for Primo. I feel bad for him. I genuinely do. It's impossible. Like it would have been unfair to play him today, even though he wanted to, because he hadn't started since December 1st. That's insane. That's such a long stretch. You can't. And they have no confidence in him, and he knows it. So he doesn't know when he's going to start, and he knows that his team has no confidence, and he knows that his coach has no confidence. Man, that's a tough situation I will go to bat and say the development for Caden Primo is the worst development I've ever seen in the history of hockey. It's just absolutely terrible. But tonight we're going to focus on the positives. And again, Montembeault did enough. I feel like we might be or Martin Saint-Louis might be riding him a little, riding the hot hand a little too often. But, right now he's the only option because the Canadiens have clearly established that they do not trust Primo. The other option, you can bring up a guy like Connor Hughes did sign an NHL contract, even though he's in Laval, and Jakub Dobeš as well. I hate that idea because Laval's kind of building back up again. They had that, as soon as they took Roy out of the picture, they didn't win again until Roy was back in the picture. And I feel like you don't really want to mess with the momentum there. But, if the Habs get into a point where things are getting interesting, then yeah, you have to solve the issue. Now, sorry, you just got up on my writing him hard, eh? The thing with Primo is again, he's a very meticulous and focused goalie. He would prepare, like we'd see him in Laval, and he would prepare very meticulously for everything. But when you don't know that when you're gonna go, all of that is lost. So it's just like, did you see him on the bench tonight? I felt really, really rough. Jonathan Dubois mentions more like Ryan White than Steve Bégin. Yeah, I loved Ryan White because he was just absolutely just bonkers. He's just the most bonkers guy you could ever have. And everyone had a Ryan White friend when you were younger. The guy that would go challenge like 30 other guys and you'd be like, oh man, I got to go get my ass kicked beside my stupid friend Ryan. Yeah, man, I had a really good friend I had my own Ryan White when I was younger. So we're going to jump into the second period and discuss what's coming up. We're going to have a little bit of a road trip too, for the Habs. So they won't be back in Montreal, I believe, until the 6th of January, which means, they're gonna come back obviously during the holidays, spend some time with their family. But we tend to overlook this because we think home ice advantage. Road games and road trips, the long ones, are the best bonding experiences you can ever get between teammates, right? So they're moving into an area where they can kind of get to know each other a little bit better, and the vibes are good. The vibes are good. Everyone's having a good time, so it should be pretty positive. Pretty positive going forward. Again, Alex Lyon was not too fantastic, but the Habs are shooting. And did they reach 30 shots tonight? Is that 2 games in a row the Montreal Canadiens hit 30 shots for the first time? I got to go check this. Actually, someone in the chat will let me know because I don't want to lose you. But they're taking shots again, which is just so encouraging. Even Uri Slavkovsky tonight, it wasn't a shot per se. It was a tip, which technically counts, but we're seeing him use his frame. We're seeing him create that chaos, and that's exactly what you want to see. Obviously, it helps to have Nick Suzuki on your wing. And I will always say this. I got into a little bit of a tiff with another outlet this summer because they're like, Uri Slavkovsky's going to have a breakout year, but Nick Suzuki's going to regress. No, absolutely not. The only chance Slavkovsky has to have a breakout year is with Nick Suzuki right beside him. And it's not to denigrate Slavkovsky. It's just that's the best combination in terms of driving the play up the ice with control. The neutral zone play from Suzuki is always fantastic. So, as Suzuki goes, Slavkovsky will follow. And we always the outlet was in Toronto, and they have this obsession with underrating Suzuki. Yeah, yesterday's game was the first time I believe the Habs won without Suzuki scoring a point. So yeah, it was a combination of things because obviously Suzuki just doesn't get the respect he deserves. But Slavkovsky will just keep him there, keep him on that top line, and good things will happen. I noticed he was a little more confident driving the play as well. And a pissed off Slavkovsky is good. It's a good thing. Like we saw yesterday with Seider, he was chirping him after the goal. I like that, man. You're the biggest dude on the ice. Go out and have fun and get angry and piss people off. That's exactly what it should be. Did they? Oh, they didn't get to 30? Terrible. Yeah, well, Thomas says they'll be flying to the home cities. Yes, absolutely, Thomas. But then, they only get a few days break, right? Then they're on the road again from, the 27th to the 6th? That's a pretty long stretch, yeah. And they don't fly back to their home cities between games or anything. They didn't hit 30 games. That's unfortunate. Habs got 20. Habs got 24 shots tonight. All right. Not even close to 30. But hey, when Patrik Laine, I think 6 of his shots made it to the net and he took 12 shooting attempts. Or 12. It should be the other way around. Everything's a shot and the ones that hit the net should be shot on net. But we're not ready for that conversation yet. Mark, Halloween was 2 months ago. Why are you dressed like a lumberjack? It's just like a happy, it's like a comfortable, It's a hoodie, man. I mentioned it earlier and I apologize for this. Okay, if I'm named Prime Minister tomorrow, my first rule, no blonde person could ever grow a beard because it's disgusting. This is disgusting. But I'm doing it partly for my godson. I'm going down to Ontario to surprise him, and he dared me that I couldn't wear. So I'm going through 2 weeks of looking like this because my 6-year-old godson. Maybe I'm a little too easily manipulated now that I think about it. But I'm really excited that I get to go see him. I wasn't sure it was going to happen. Every year I try to go down to Smith Falls, and I got him hockey cards this year. But instead of giving him, because I've been giving him my old cards, so just like, here's 10,000 old cards. This year I got him some packs, so I got a really good deal at Walmart. I got him, a whole bunch of boxes. Like I got him, about 10 of the boxes with, I think, 8 packs each. So hopefully he'll be having fun with that. So Félix, je m'en viens te voir. And then we're going to be building, having a godson's the coolest thing in the world. He's a good friend of mine. I honestly have a ton of fun with him. And we go sledding, we build forts. Like it's just amazing. We go ice fishing. If he sees something cool in the woods, we just go check it out. It is amazing to have a buddy who's 6 years old. Like absolutely, he's just a smart kid that loves how to be outside, and he loves to build things. And I can't wait to go see him. I know I probably shouldn't spend as much time talking about him, but I love my godson, and I'm pretty excited. So this is for him to show him how disgusting it is when blonde guys grow beards. There's not one blonde guy that ever grew a beard that looked nice. Maybe there's like 2 Swedes and possibly a Norwegian, no finish. But like no blonde guy has ever grown a beard that looks half decent. It looks like a muskrat died, got stuck in the sink, and then I pulled it out one by one. Or like I kind of look like the Zigzag Man a little bit. Either way, it's not a look I'll be keeping after Christmas. And my good friend, the good news is my godson's mom she'll be cutting my hair and getting rid of this crap, so that'll be perfect. Okay, so 6-1 win or 5-1, 6-1. I should know this. I think it was 5-1. What were your impressions? What are you guys looking forward to after? Actually, there's a game on the 23rd, which I believe Kay is going to host. I don't think Patrik Laine is going to keep scoring every single power play, but what I would like to see, maybe. And I know I said it wasn't a mistake earlier or an issue, but if it continues like this and you can't get Cole Caulfield in a one-timer, you can drop him to that second power play unit. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So, just Laine's presence, I feel, has opened up so many options, lineup options. It's just been fantastic to have him. And I am so happy for the person. And, you see his fiance. I don't know, did any of you see the video the other day? They were shopping for Opération Père Noël. So basically what it is, Opération Père Noël is it's a charity, and they're going to be giving gifts at Christmas for some of the less fortunate. And he was there shopping with his fiance, and it was just a heartwarming video to show that he was getting something out of it too. You know what I mean? Because Patrik Laine has been through a lot. I don't want to pretend that I know exactly word for word, but I have a pretty good idea. It's a situation that a lot of people that I've helped friends out of, and that it's especially what's happening now. It's just compounding the fact that so many things have happened to him in the last year and a half. Everyone will stumble once in a while, and you don't have to get up right away, but eventually you do have to get up, right? And that you only do that when you're ready. I feel like Patrik Laine, both on and off the ice, was ready to come back, and just in that the amount of things that he had to process, that he had to deal with. And again, I really want to mention that his fiance, I'm sure, has just been a rock, because that's the support system right there. It's just great to see him have fun out there. And someone has mentioned to me, hey, he's not smiling on the ice. I get it. Listen, let's not push the issue too much. Like, that's kind of like going up to someone and say, like, smile more often, right? Like, ask all your friends that are girls how much they love hearing that. It's one of the, to me, that's so insulting. It's in the sense that, like, you should be happier. Let him deal with it the way he wants to deal with it. Right now, he's loving life in Montreal. Montreal's loving Laine. It's just this perfect marriage, right? And he took all the right steps to come back. So it's just a good reminder that we all fall at one point. We all trip up. Not everything always goes great. But, if you know anyone or you're going through these issues as well, just remember, investing in yourself is never a bad idea. It's the best investment you'll ever make in your life. It's very, very important, and I do want to use Patrik Laine as an example. I know that it's different. He's a pro athlete, and things are different, but it just goes to show that everyone sometimes has issues, and once you get back up and you have a good support group like he has, the team loves him. It makes things a lot better. So if anyone has an issue right now, I know holidays can be tough. You can go ahead and send me a DM on Twitter, and I will respond to you. All right, so Joe the Snoop mentions, okay, first of all, we're going to back to the beard part. Brad Pitt, I feel like he was the guy I had in mind in 2K. First of all, that's just unfair. Second of all, he dropped the bag with Jennifer Aniston and Angelina Jolie. What an idiot. And third of all, I don't think it's real. I just don't think it's real. His perfectly groomed blonde man beard. Come on. So he just has all the best he's a Viking and he's a beautiful actor. Come on, not fair. If only I grew up in snow, mentions Joe the Snoop. Yeah, I've gotten to the point. Well, obviously I have a big retirement fund here, so I don't really wear winter jackets. I've kind of acclimatized to winter here. I love winter, and I'm starting to hate summer. I'm that asshole that when it's minus 27, like, yeah, here we go. It's super simple. You can't get more naked than naked, right? Like when it's hot, that's it. You can get AC, but in terms of but in the winter, layers. You just layered it up and bring it down as much as you want, So it's that control. I like the control of winter. But yeah, we spend days out in the woods. This year we're doing some winter camping again. We tried it last year with my godson, and it was just a little bit too much for him. I get it. He wasn't 6 yet, but he's really pumped this year. So we're gonna just do an A-frame, and we actually dig down into the snow, and we'll put some bedding down, and we'll just sleep in the snow for a night and get some really good hot chocolate the next morning. But yeah, and then as we do that, we have our ice fishing going on. We have our tobogganing and, just throwing snowballs at it. Yeah. Fun is, snow is the best thing in the world. Bernardo mentions the blonde actors in Vikings have pretty good beards. I'm going to say again, fake. There's not a single human blonde in the world that looks good with a beard. It just doesn't happen. Crazy that, Thomas, this is a really good point. And we'll jump into the third segment here. Did I already do that? Oh no, here we go. Third segment. I've been almost avoiding discussing Lane Hutson because I felt like the attention given to him at the beginning of the season it was almost like I was going to say the Beatles in terms of Beatlemania, but I feel like that's not the best, not exactly the most fresh reference. But every game we'd hear oh my God, Lane Hutson. Oh my God, he had a giveaway. And then everything was magnified times 1,000. I kind of didn't love it. It was kind of okay, let the kid play. But now we're seeing, and there's giveaways, man. Last night, he got so pissed off after that giveaway. I was happy. I'm good, bud. You want to see him get angry at those. Not every defenseman will show how pissed off they are after that. And he's a guy that's so calm. It's good to see that he wasn't happy with that play. He'd be lying otherwise. But yeah, tonight, again, it was on the Laine power play goal, but we're up to 22 in 31. I watched almost every single Lane Hutson game in the NCAA, and I knew they had something special coming. I just thought that it would take a lot longer for him to kind of, I'm trying to avoid more. Earlier, I made a reference I was going to say sit in and then strap on, but that's not strap in. Yes, strap in, and just watch him go. Martin Saint-Louis is letting him, he's letting his horses run, and it's just fantastic that he's letting him play through the mistakes as well. But I feel still those mistakes that everyone talks about are so overblown. I remember watching a little guy named Robert Orr play against the Montreal Canadiens and just absolutely getting dominated in the playoffs. The Habs they made Bobby Orr look bad. It wasn't Bobby Orr's fault. We're talking about, some of the best players of all time, is one of the best teams of all time. I'm just saying, if you look just for the negatives, you will find them. And you'll find them with Hutson. But now is he a couple points behind Mishkov? I forget where we're at. It's just incredible. What he's doing with all that pressure, with all that expectations, and other players in the league know it. They're hitting it extra hard there. So, okay, it's 24 and 33. Man, that's got to be one of the best scoring paces we've seen for Did Markov hit 50 in the last 3 years? I'm trying to figure out when was the last guy to hit 60 points. Who was the last Canadiens defenseman? Yeah, it must have been Subban, right? Either way, just incredible. And it's going to get better, right? Like this. I'm not surprised he's not scoring much. A lot of people are really worried about his goals. And if you watch him in the NCAA, the reason he scored a ton was because obviously he'd do his moonwalk at the blue line. And after he jukes you for the third time, you give up. Like, remember last year, and it was his second game, and David Perron was like, fuck this. I'm not going to get bag skated by a rookie. But as much as Brady Tkachuk, remember when Brady Tkachuk did his like, oh, I'm laughing at you? Lane Hutson set up a scoring play 10 seconds later. Those head fakes are incredibly effective. And I know it's an easy target if you don't understand the game of hockey. He's doing head fakes. They're working, right? Like, so what he did in the NCAA is on top of the walking the line. So you're moving the goalie the whole time. That's all he wants to do is get that goalie moving. A moving goalie is a vulnerable goalie. But it was also to create second chance opportunities, right? The rebound. A lot of them were going in because NCAA goalies aren't that great. The ones not named Jacob Fowler. So I never expect him to score much in the NHL, and we shouldn't going forward. Like, he's a guy that'll maybe get 5-6 goals a year, but if you're tagging 55 points after that, whoo, that's some Scott Niedermayer type production. The less Bernardo mentions, Robert Orr, the less talented brother of Colton Orr. Joe the Snoop. Well, this is a good question, Joe the Snoop. Back to hockey. Could January be the real turning point for the Habs? As good as it is, I wouldn't put much into this because everything's rolling. They're 100% healthy, I believe, since the first time since Martin St. Louis took over, which is... It's not just Carrier that's made the big change, right? It's not having 18 guys on the IR. So I'd say the Detroit Red Wings are more of a mess than Montreal was a wagon. Let's put it that. Like I know I said earlier that they would have won regardless of the team, but they probably wouldn't have scored 5 goals regardless of the team. So take it in stride. Enjoy that through every rebuild. There's ups and downs, and it's going to go back down. Just, keep a positive attitude and realize that they're still going to be in for probably a top 10 pick this year. And, if you end up with a Caleb Desnoyers, you're happy. Secret agent, man, same thing. Is Montreal going to catch Ottawa for the last wild card spot? Like, first of all, I'm happy for Ottawa. I know it sounds weird. And like, Ottawa fans are actually very, very, I was going to say very, very awesome, great, but I grew up with a lot of them being from Ottawa and always had a great time with them. Now, the ones online are like ridiculously aggressive, to the point that it's like they would, every time I'd have a Brendan Gallagher, any kind of clip, they would literally get together and be like, we're going to go under, and they'd put 50 replies like, oh, he dove. And it was like, oh man, like, guys, okay, everyone treats you as a little brother, but like, man, that is the most little brother tantrum bullshit I've ever seen in my life. Like, just enjoy it. You know what I mean? That guys are doing good. Don't try to insult like for no reason. So anyways, all this goes to show is that they go to bed thinking of Brendan Gallagher every single night. And that's fine. I don't like that. I don't like the whole weirdly brigading for something that never happened part. Like, that's super weird. But overall, I think Ottawa does deserve a little bit of happiness. It's not just the Melnick years. It's that, I think the fans as well deserve it because people criticized Ottawa when the numbers went down. Let's be honest. That was the Melnick era for a reason. Things were not being run very well. And when Ottawa had a good team, the fans were there. So now they're on, a 7-game winning streak? I hope they keep going. I hope they make the playoffs and eliminate Toronto in the first round. And then after that, I don't really care. But just having an arena at LeBreton Flats will change absolutely everything. And when you look at it, for those that think I'm being too positive, Michael Andlauer, he bought the Senators with the money he had made from the Habs. I think it was like a $4 million that turned out to be whatever. He had like a 5% stake. And so literally, the owner, that's Habs money. So technically the Habs own the Senators, if that makes you feel better. But I genuinely do wish the Senators well. I know it sounds a weird thing to say, but I want them to do good just because they have, like, I feel like they're doing the right way. You know what I mean? So I want them to continue to, as much as possible to climb up the standings. And also, I mean, the Atlantic Division's a bit rough right now, which I never got because none of them are in the Atlantic. Anyways, when you have Buffalo that's failing miserably, it's a good time for someone to take that spot. I don't want it to be the Habs. I don't like making the playoffs would probably be the worst thing long term for the Montreal Canadiens right now. That being said, again, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth, but there's a lot of road to if this was Dorothy, we wouldn't even gotten to the yellow brick road yet, right? So which, by the way, and I know this is a little, have you ever looked back at The Wizard of Oz and realized that like Dorothy's the mean one, like is the villain? The witch at the beginning she murders a witch, steals her boots. That's 2 felonies right there, right off the bat. I don't know. Oh no, and you know who was the worst out of that? What was the other princess or queen, Esmeralda? Either way, she knew that Dorothy, she was using her the whole time. Those two are in cahoots. All I'm saying is that the Wicked Witch of the East seemed fine to me, and she got a whole house dropped on her. That is not fair. Okay, so we're gonna probably end this pretty soon, Joe the Snoop. But thank you for joining us. And again, we're gonna be back. 23K is gonna be taking care of that show. She's in the chat right now. If she wants, she'll drop her Twitter handle. Please go follow Kay. Obviously, she's much smarter than all of us, and she does a great job hosting. But just in general, we're just so proud to see her, grab the reins and run with it, right? So she's been the Patrik Laine of Game Over Montreal. Just came in and boom, start scoring goals. So make sure to follow Kay on social media. I think we're gonna. And Kale Savard, Bernardo Sunier says, and also Kale Savard got an assist. Are we? Who's that? Is that David Savard? Have you noticed life has been a lot better for David Savard in the last 2 games? The Alexandre Carrier acquisition, again, I know people got pissed when I said the first one was a mistake. It was, but just the way that Kent Hughes rectified the mistake, brilliant. Now, I have a theory that Nashville has no effing clue what they're doing. Like Barry Trotz, who's a good coach. That's the end of my description. But the whole Askarov situation, you keep the guy in the, and he wants to be in the NHL, and you're like, no, you acquire another backup, and then you're gonna force him again to be back in the minors. Stupid. It's the worst handling of a goalie I've seen since Primo. And then with Carrier, didn't they? What was the story behind Carrier? Didn't they have to go arbitrate? Either way, they didn't want to sign him. They did sign him, and then immediately traded him. Anyways, I don't know what's going on with Nashville, but that was a fantastic trade by Kent Hughes. Just brilliant. We're looking at a guy who's right-handed too. That is so like David Savard, and also that's what it sets up the David Savard trade. Just having a right-handed defenseman that's just so reliable, it warms my dead heart. And I believe I'd have to go look, but the stats were about 75%. He controlled 75% of the shots while he's been on the ice, and his expected goal is like 85%. It's crazy town banana pants for Alexandre Carrier right now, and I know this may not resonate with many people, but having a local talent, which is in Montreal, anyone from the island, anyone from Quebec is low. Even we'll take Ottawa, like anything on the border is local talent. Although I remember people used to say Claude Giroux is local talent. I'm like, hey, écoute, he's from Geraldtown, Hearst, up northern Ontario. He has nothing to do with Ottawa. But having a local guy who speaks French and wants to be here and plays well, perfect, right? Like that, and the last one plays well. That's the key part, and that's the one that I look for too. But as a francophone, I do love seeing more francophones in the mix. Bernardo says, "Have you seen Wicked?" No, but isn't it pretty much the story? Isn't it like Wizard of Oz style? Wicked is no. It's a bunch of witches, eh? I might actually be messing up my timeline, but the last time I went to New York, it was the producers I saw. Was it Wicked or the producers? I remember I was with my girlfriend at the time, and everyone wanted to go see the Blue Man Group because we went a big group. And I was like, come on, what are we doing here? We don't come to New York for the Blue Man Group. So me and her went to the producers, original cast, Nathan Fillion, basically. And it was the best show I've ever seen in my life. It was I'm not a big theater guy. I don't like movies, but I'll sit down for a Broadway show all day, every day. Yeah. So I didn't see Wicked, but I did see the producers. I also saw Les Miserables a bunch of times. So, okay. And David chimes in. Habs 500 past 10 games. Hey man, It's the gravy, right? It's the ebb, or no, the flow after the ebb, and peaks and valleys all the time. I feel we need to do a better job kind of staying in the middle, but it is nice to see the team be rewarded. I know Dach, people talk about that penalty, but other than that, I really felt it was probably the best full team effort. Especially, you're behind the 8 ball right away. They had only won 1 game this year after, trailing early. That's good resilience. That's very positive. And just the fact that it was their first game in a while that they got scored on first. Hey, I feel like that's un atout, you have to throw some flowers. Sorry, when I get tired, my brain goes in 2 languages. You can't say throw flowers in English, can you? Anyways, send some praise Martin St. Louis' way. He's been doing a much better job, I think, preparing his teams, getting them ready, because it's all about that start. Okay, so yeah, MFM, yeah, I saw the producers on Broadway. Now here's the crazy part. Everyone else went to go see the Blue Man Group. I was like, when they came out of it, I'm like, was it good? Did they make noise with some paint on their face? You know what I mean? It was pretty funny. Now we ended up paying like $400 a ticket or something stupid for our producers show, but we used to always take like full weekends in New York. I love that city with a passion. I've never gotten to a city where I felt more at home than New York City, because you see it everywhere, and you can go check out where John Lennon got shot. You go in the subway. We did a tam circle around where John Lennon got shot. It was like one of those, like, okay, you're really connecting. Yeah. Anyways, I had a great time there. So. Jonathan Dubois mentions, what do you mean? That's where Goalie should be. Hey, absolutely. Oh, okay. He's responding to Kay, who said, how do you feel about Goalie getting to play on the left? That's the other amazing part, right? Me and Kay have been on the Goalie natural side train for a long, long time. Alex Carrier almost ensures, no matter what, Goalie gets to play on his natural side. Like where he trained his whole life to play. That's such a boon right there. Just the option for Martin St. Louis, having that extra option on the back end. Who has he ever had Alexandre Carrier? Because, like, with all due respect to David Savard, he's past that point. Mike Matheson, not the best defensively. And the rotating cast of players in between, none of them were like a stalwart. Even Kaden Goalie was ran out of the rink, statistically speaking. He was on his offside. So having a guy that you can just plug and play and it's stable, going from Barron to, it's going from the leaky rowboat to a aircraft carrier there. That's essentially what you did. Now, we're not going to be able to expect much offense. Like we saw tonight, he had a bit of a rush. That's not what he does. And there were some concerns right away when they traded for him. People were like, oh, he's 5'11". Okay, first of all, some of us are really short in life. 5'11" is fine. Arrêtez, là. Arrêtez. Nick Suzuki's 5'11". Sidney Crosby's 5'11". Like, arrête. Why are you so obsessed with height? You know what I mean? It's we've gotten to the point where it shouldn't be an issue. If he produces well, or if he does his job well, it doesn't matter. And I've seen a lot taller and heavier defensemen do a much worse job than Alexandre Carrier. That's the key there. So, and I think that's just, it's nice that they bounced back from the third period. That must not be mentioned. What do you mean they bounced back from the third period? They had to lead the whole game. Or no, after that first goal. Either way, it's good that they didn't lay off the gas a little bit at the end there. I feel like that was really, really positive. Okay, I think we're going to wrap up, and I do apologize for everyone that had to see this disgusting thing tonight. I swear to God, it'll be gone by the time I'm back in Quebec. I'll be doing the New Year's Eve game, so I'll be happy to see all of you there. And as we close it all out, I would like, not to be too preachy, but, everyone gets together the holidays. I already mentioned, hey, if you're feeling lonely, send me a DM on Twitter. I understand not everyone gets along with their family. Not everyone has this opportunity to go hang out with people. If you have an issue, send me a DM. But also, I would beg of you, if anyone you know or yourself, if there's any situation that there's a possibility of drinking and driving, don't do it. You don't need to hear the reasons why. I'm just reminding you. Just don't do it. Don't. I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the other people on the road. Every time you do that, you're endangering everyone's life. Could be kids, could be family. So just don't do it. Call a friend, call a taxi, call an Uber, call Opération Nez Rouge if you're in Quebec. Just don't drive your car. It's not worth it. And it'll ruin your life, but that doesn't matter. Just don't do that. But I do want everyone to have fun, and you know, a little bit of extra rum during the holidays is never the worst thing in the world. I don't drink anymore, but I used to love going like full whiskey in the coffee, and then whiskey in the, you know, whiskey in my with lunch, and then whiskey in my beer, and then a lot of whiskey during the holidays. And you know, it's a good. I'm not gonna do it this year. I can't really drink anymore. But I do miss the days of getting drunk at like 8:30 in the morning. That is some good holiday drinking right there. And next game we will have K. K will be doing the next game, which is absolutely fantastic. We're really seeing our superstars. And you know, they say Patrik Laine has been good. Well, K's been nailing it. She's what, 12 for 12 now. So Laine is not even at that point. But with 2 more goals, I think Patrik Laine will be tied with the New York Islanders for power play goals this year. What a story, eh? What a story. I'm just so happy for him, for his fiance. And for the team, you almost feel like it's just been such a great story from start to end. And for someone who worked so hard to get back to where he wanted to be, and he did it the right way, that's the good stuff right there. That's the good stuff. As I said to open the show, invest in yourself. It's always the best investment you'll make your entire life. All right, c'est tout pour moi. That is it for me. Yeah, so as I mentioned, I'll be going to Ontario, but I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. You know, have fun out there. Don't drink and drive, but have fun. Make snowmen. Have a snowball fight with the kids in the street. Go play hockey. Go have fun. Go enjoy that we won the birthplace lottery and that we live in a pretty cool place at a pretty cool time where we have almost all the advantages. You know, go out there and take advantage of our and if you're not in Canada, sorry to hear that, but I'm sure you have some nice outdoor activities out there too. There's something different about the cold winter air. I feel like it'll put some hair on your chest a little bit. All right, I am Marc Dumont, and I thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe. I know I don't do that enough, and they keep yelling at me, but you all know what to do, and I do appreciate just showing up and watching tonight. That's already really good. If you'd like, share it with your friends, let them know, and again, I promise you, if you're having any issues, send me a message on Twitter, and we'll talk. I'm a really good listener, believe it or not. We'll keep it confidential. That is it for me. Joyeux Noël, and I will see you on the 31st. Salut tout le monde.